I promised you guys I would show you the good and the bad and the ugly. Well, none of this is ugly, but I made a mistake. See, I want to make a jig for etching these cards. These are metal, they're aluminum, and they're anodized black. And I want to etch them for business cards. Well, I don't want to do them one at a time because that's silly, especially when I've got, 55 of them to do or something like that. So I thought, hey, let's make a metal business card jig. Perfect. Wonderful. However, there's a problem. And that problem is this piece here with the nice rounded corners and stuff. This is supposed to be the small inside and the back. So in other words, it's supposed to come in this way. But if we line everything up, it doesn't do that. This piece here is supposed to go here. So that, as you can see, I have a lip all the way around on the inside, and I can then pop the cards back out. The problem is, as you can probably already tell, I put the words on the wrong spot. So, as my company commander in the United States Navy used to say, pay attention to details. This can happen to anybody. Now, I could put this together and use it, and it would be just fine. It just doesn't have the label on it the way that I want. But I do everything, including the stuff for myself. I try and make it as best as I can. And if I make a mistake, I redo it, make it right. This gets you in the habit of, when you're working on your customer stuff, instead of going, good enough. No, not good enough. A saying I used to say in my auto shop, my custom shop that I owned several years ago, perfect is almost good enough. And so, take pride in your work. And if you make a mistake, even if it's on a jig for making stuff for your own, for your own stuff, for your own shop, take your time, make it right. If you make a mistake, redo it and make it right. Okay, the materials for this hobby are relatively inexpensive. I think each one of these boards is a couple dollars, $2 or $3, something like that. And I'll have a full video out on what I used as far as cuts and power and speed settings and so on and so forth, coming here pretty quick. Okay, take care. Enjoy burning stuff. Okay, a couple of hints and tips here. Just about done with the new metal business cards jig. The one that I screwed up last time was, a pretty good screw up. This time I did a couple of things differently. First of all, of course, I moved the words. Second of all, because I then had something I could test, I also checked the business cards to see if they actually fit in the holes. And because I knew I was really tight on the measurements, I didn't want to move it around a whole lot. And turns out I was just a little too tight. And so, okay, that's easy. We just modify the holes a little bit, make them just a touch bigger. In this case, I made them a 1/100th of an inch bigger, so 0.001. And then what I did was, on this time, because the last time it, where is it? You can see there's a lot of smoke that appeared around specifically around the wording, but also on the corners and so on and so forth. I don't particularly care for that. And so this time what I did was I actually put tape, which you can see a seam here, or a whatever there. I put tape on it. Now I still have the blemishes. You can see another crease here. I still have the blemishes. There's another crease right there. But the thing is, they're on top of the tape. So when I remove the tape, what's going to happen is all that smoke damage going to go away. And I'm okay with that. So now, here's a helpful tip. When you make something like this, if you look, most of the time, it's going to have just a slight bow to it. And when I put these back to back, you can really see it. Okay. Now I could glue these together this way, which would be great, and it will forever have the bow in it. Okay. Or I can glue them together this way, and when I do that, the bow of the top one will cancel out the bow of the bottom one, and it should lay reasonably flat. So anyway, that's that. I'm going to bring you back here in just a minute once I have this all put back together again. I am going to be using double stick tape. I have some 1/4 inch double stick tape, 3M variety. I could use my Star Bond. I do have Star Bond. I've got all three flavors of Star Bond. The challenge is Star Bond is very, very, very expensive. I would rather use it on projects that matter. In other words, stuff for people instead of stuff for me. So for this, I'm just going to use double stick tape. It's going to be fine. It's going to work perfectly, and it will hold for many, many, many years. So anyway, I'm going to bow out at this point, and I'll bring you back as soon as I have this all set and ready to go. Okay, so here's another step. I have put the double stick tape down. I have not peeled off the backing yet, but I just wanted to show you the level of coverage that I go for on something like this. They do have double stick tape that you can peel and stick on an entire sheet of plywood. I don't have any of that because I didn't feel like I needed it right away. Eventually I'll get it, but it's on my list. In the meantime, this is the way that I do it. Be it right, wrong, or indifferent, it's the way I do it. So anyway, I'm going to catch you here in just a minute for the final product, and then we'll talk about it. This is the final piece of this video. As you can see, it took some of the warp out. Some of it's still in there. I'm going to have to lay it flat and get it warm to get it all the way out. But you can tell a vast difference between that one and this one in terms of the quality of the etching and the final product. And all it was is I just covered the plywood with masking tape. So now what happens is we take our business cards and we slide them in, and they fit perfectly like this. And then I can use the laser to etch to take off the anodizing off of that. When it's done, I just pop it out because I can get back here with my thumb. So it's still a snug fit, but it's usable, and that's perfect. You know, I don't want it to be so tight that I can't get them out, but I don't want it so loose that it's in there just slopping around. So anyway, I would call this one a success. Again, you can see, you know, the etching is beautiful. The etching itself is, let's see how deep it is. The etching is 27 thousandths deep. It's got good color, and it will absolutely stay the test of time. And so even the sides look good. Got good color, no charring. It just cut straight through, no issues. So I'm happy with this now the way it is. I wasn't happy with the previous one. And so now, time to go make some business cards. Anyway, I hope this helps. By the way, just so we know, The etching was done at 400 millimeters per second at 40% power. That was the metal business cards, the lettering. That was that, and it was just a standard fill etch. It was not the other one. And then the cutting was actually done because I put the masking tape on it. I wanted to increase the power just a little bit to accommodate the masking tape. And so I did 30 millimeters per second at 55% power. And it cut perfectly. I mean, there's no little hairs. Everything fell out. It was perfect. So if I'd have gone up too much more than that, maybe I could have gone a little faster, but I would have got charring. I want charring. I want it to look good. So this is the final segment of this video. And you probably have noticed I've patched together several pieces, and that's because I recorded them as I was doing this to catch the highlights, the pieces that I felt were pertinent, and just not bore you to tears with videos of the laser running. And so I believe in the last segment showed you the finished jig. And so anyway, here is the jig with some cards in it. And you can see it does a great job of holding them. And then, of course, we've got the stuff on the back. I did not engrave through the back. What I did was I engraved the backs, and then I flipped the cards over in the jig, and then I engraved the fronts. As far as settings are concerned, the engraving was done at 400 millimeters per second at 55% power. I think I can probably speed that up, probably up to a full 600 millimeters a second. The question is whether or not it's important enough to me to add to the wear and tear on the laser. I'm not in a hurry on these. These are for my personal cards. And as such, I don't give them out very often. And as such, I only need just a few of them done at a time. So that having been said, if somebody comes along and says, hey, do 100 of these, okay, cool. I'll do 100 of them, and I'll crank the power up, and we'll make it happen really quickly. Anyway, that's all for today. Hopefully this helps. Again, I have the OmTech MF-2028, and it's a 100-watt CO2 laser. All of the settings that I used are for the 100-watt CO2 laser, and hopefully this helps somebody. If you like it, please like and subscribe, and click the bell icon. I will be putting these out. I'm going to try and get 1 or 2 videos out a week, and it's all about my journey in the laser space. So anyway, take care, everyone, and have fun. Go burn something.